Hello, I am live on YouTube and on Instagram because I thought YouTube's always a great place to save things because you can put them in folders and it's searchable, whereas Instagram's not. So if I look like I'm looking down or up, it's because I'm going between YouTube and Instagram. But I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to come on. And then we can have a little chat. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have to say, I am overwhelmed. Hi, Shelley. Overwhelmed. Thanks, Charlotte. At the amount of love. You can't hear me on YouTube. Why can't you hear me on YouTube? Can you hear me now? Kirsten, let me know if you can hear me. I'm absolutely overwhelmed at the amount of love I'm getting. Thank you. To the point where I actually had to turn off my phone the other night because it was a lot. But to be honest, it was actually very humbling to see the community I've created and all the love. Because we've been through a bit of a rough trot in this household lately. It seems to be one thing after the other. If you're on YouTube, can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Let me know if you can't, because that would suck. Yes, I will talk about... So what I thought I would do today, because I have lots of questions, and so I don't then repeat myself 5 million times, I thought I would I'd take you on a little journey. So I'll tell you about sort of what led me immediately to see the doctors. What immediately led me to see the doctors, and then not sure why I was just watching the video and said, okay, cool. Why can't you hear me? Maybe you connect to something else. Wait. You're not on mute or anything. No. Oh well, hopefully you can hear me on YouTube because that would suck. My microphone's on and everything. What led me immediately to the initial appointment to get to here, and then I'm going to go back a few steps. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the year, and then I'm going to go back a few more years after sort of talking to the surgeon yesterday. So come on this journey with me because I'm going to try and answer all your questions. Thanks, Kirsten. Hopefully it does. You can hear me if you go on YouTube. So, so first of all, thank you so much for all the love. It's been... I made a vow to always come and turn up here authentically and raw and honest. And everyone's got their own opinion on how much people share on social media. I have made a choice to share a lot on here. I don't share everything, and I will share when I want to share. I don't, just so everyone knows, because I have had a few comments, a few things. One, I don't ever feel pressured to share things. I share things because I want to, for the purpose of education, awareness, and I understand that people are invested in certain parts of my life, which is really nice, but also it means that I can get my message out more. So that's number one. I never feel pressured. So when people say, Danni, you don't feel pressured to share, that's okay. I will always do things in my own time anyway, and answer what I want to answer. Number two, someone said, Danni, don't feel like you have to be strong. We know you're strong. And I don't feel any pressure to do that. I am just a strong person. I've been through a lot over the last few years, and everything that happens along the way just prepares you for the next thing that's coming and toughens you up a little bit more. Unfortunately, it makes you resilient, it makes you strong, but I don't ever feel a need to come on and be strong. And like I said in my car chat the other day, or little story, I am definitely having my ups and downs, and it's been an emotional roller coaster. Every now and then I've tried to, flick a phone in my face when I'm crying, just to show you that kind of, as you probably saw a reel the other day, 2-second moment of crying. But, I had a massive cry the other night. I had a massive cry in front of my friends and Chris. The phone's not in my face, but I will tell you about those times. So know that I'm not up here all the time. I'm not absolutely, what's the word? I'm not that much of concrete. I'm not that hard. I am definitely having moments of down. And I don't feel the need to be strong. I just am strong. But I also, because, guys, I have 4 beautiful children. I'm going to be okay. I woke up today, the sun is shining, we are not at war, I have a beautiful husband, I have a beautiful family, there's food on my table, there's a roof over my head. So there's so much to be grateful for. So I'm not going to sit here and wallow in self-pity because it's shit down there, right? It's shit. No one wants to stay down there for very long. So we keep going because there's no other choice. Because, you know, otherwise you feel shit. Anyway, so I know it's a bit baffling. I still think I'm going to wake up for a dream that I have bowel cancer. What the fuck? No one saw that coming. Neither did I. I didn't even, and this might sound so naive, I didn't even think that was a possibility when I went in for the colonoscopy on Thursday. You know, we were having a bit of a giggle, weren't we, last week about that fucking drink, which, guys, I have to do again. And I did not even think that was a possibility. I literally thought I was going to come out celiac, or maybe there's some bleeding in my intestine somewhere for some other reason. I did not even think that was a possibility. So that was a nice little fucking shock. But here we are. So let's go back to what prompted me to go to the doctor. So funnily enough, it's funny how life works, isn't it? I'd actually made an appointment with my doctor to have all my bloods done anyway, and to get a scan of my back and a scan of my Achilles and just get all my bloods done. I'm turning 40 in 10 weeks and 6 days. 11 weeks and 6 days? 10 weeks and 6 days. God, I fucking lost count now. I'm turning 40 in 3 months. And I was like, let's just go and get all the bloods done. Let's just check you're okay. Let's check all the things. Cholesterol, thyroid mark, you know, all those things. Let's just start 40 nice and clean. So I'd already booked that appointment in for weeks before. Anyway, in about April, I started getting really, like, a little dizzy. So as I said, I'm going to start from April. We're going to go forward, then I'm going to go back again. So stay here, grab a tea, grab a cuppa, find a cupboard, find a car, whatever, get comfy. I started getting dizzy. I said to Lexi a couple of times in the kitchen, I said, God, Lexi, I've just felt really dizzy. Like, I've just had a bit of a head spin. She's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Kind of kept going, you know. I'm built to keep going. I'm an ex-ballet dancer. We're built to keep going, right? We're not built to freaking stop us, ballet dancers. So that happened one day, and then maybe 3 or 4 days later, it happened again. And then it happened again. And I was like, oh, Lexi, I keep getting dizzy, like so random, like at random times. And to the point where I've had to like stop, like, you know, quite spacey. And then a couple of other things I started noticing. My heart rate, I was feeling quite anxious, and obviously anxiety and heart rates go together, right? And I was like, I'm feeling really anxious lately. I don't know what it is. You know, Chris had his colonoscopy and endoscopy. He was a celiac, so we had that coming through. We actually didn't think we knew he was a celiac at the time. You know, we had a lot going on. I'm always busy at work. You know, to be honest, I was having a couple of stresses with work, and I just thought my anxiety was high because my heart rate was going up. And then I was in the gym with Jake, and I just felt shit. I was like, I can push through, guys. I'm pretty fucking hardy. We would do a set, and my heart rate was flying through the roof. And I said to him, I was like, I'm gonna have to just have a break, bud. Between sets, I'm really struggling here, which is so unlike me. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And then I did a live workout on the app the following Tuesday. I finished the live workout. I came in and I'm making breakfast for the kids, and I said to Lexi, I'm going to pass out. And I had to go onto the couch. I literally stumbled over the couch. I sat down and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, should I lie down? Like, call my mum. Mum's a doctor. Looked at my heart rate. I think it was 116 from doing nothing. And I said, and Chris is like, that's it, we're going to the doctor. So I called the doctor. I got in. I think he said, we'll go to the doctor on the after school drop off, and then we'll make an appointment, see if we can get you in that day. And he got me in that day. So I got to the doctor. She's like, you know, are you pregnant? And I said, look, I don't think so. I said, but I'm not going to lie. I felt very bloated the last few months. And I keep getting told by other people, Danni, you're almost 40, you've had 4 kids, this is where your tummy's going to be. And I said, to be honest, I'm not buying it. I know my body. I was flatter in January than I am now. I was like, so maybe I am pregnant. I was like, but I've been pregnant 7 times. I'm pretty sure I'd know if I was pregnant, but I'm breastfeeding. I've never been pregnant breastfeeding. Maybe it feels different. Anyway, did a pregnancy test, not pregnant. She's like, when was your last period? And I was like, well, I'm not getting a period because I'm breastfeeding. And I know some people do, but I haven't got my back yet. And she was like, okay, cool. And she's like, let's just do some tests. I said, look, I was coming in next week to get all my tests anyway, if you could just do them all now. So we did all my tests. Anyway, so that was on Tuesday. And my follow-up appointment was for the following Wednesday. So I kept going. Right? Kept going to the gym, literally having these sessions with Jake. And I was like, Jake, I've had these blood tests done. I said, it's probably just going to come back. I've got low iron. Like, that's what it's going to be. My iron was low during pregnancy. I'll just have to take some iron tablets, maybe an infusion. I'll be fine. So we kept going. Kept getting dizzy. Was like, this is not great. Went for a dentist appointment on the next Tuesday. And I actually called my best friend from the car and said, Lance, I'm so anxious about this dentist appointment. I'm feeling really anxious lately. I'm not sure what's going on. I think I just want to know what's happening. Got into the dentist. He's injected me. Of course, there's adrenaline in those drugs. And I'm laying back. And guys, if you can think your heart rate's already heightened, you're anxious, you've got this shot of adrenaline in your mouth, and then they've put a dental dam in, right? So he's covered up my mouth, right? So you can't breathe through your mouth. I start to panic. And then as he's putting the dental dam in, he's like covered my nose. I fucking was like, you can't talk, right? I was like, I was like, get it off. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like doing this, like, no, like I'm not okay. Like I literally had this massive panic attack. I burst into tears. And I just said to him, he's like, are you okay? And I said, no, I'm not okay. I was crying. I said, we've just got a lot going on at home. I think I'm just really anxious. My heart rate won't come down. I was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, do you want to try again? Because I have 3 fillings, guys, I need to have done. 1, 2, 3. I had 1 the other week down there, which is fine. And then 3. He's like, I said, yeah, try again. Anyway, laid back, went to put the dental dam in, and I was like, nah, fuck this. I said, I can't do it. I'm going to have to make another appointment. I'm so sorry. And I was crying. I was so, like, I don't know if I said, I felt so shit. So I'm used to functioning up here, guys. I'm used to having so much energy, feeling amazing. So for me, this was a really big jump in how I felt. Like I was like, I feel like absolute shit. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Something's happening. So I had my appointment for the next day. And I walk into the doctor's and she goes, Danni, how are you feeling? And I went, to be honest, Emma, like fucking shit. Like she said that, you know me, I did. I said, like fucking shit. And she goes, I'm not surprised. You're highly anemic and we need to get you an urgent iron infusion, potential blood infusion. She goes, your iron is so low, I'm surprised you're even standing up. And I said, what? I said, I just went to the gym and had a tennis lesson. Wednesdays, I had Jake's session and had a tennis lesson. She went, that is ridiculous. She goes, most people would be curled up on the bed. So my iron, guys, was 1.8 and my hemoglobin was 77. She's like, most people should be curled up on a bed right now, having naps constantly. How you are even functioning, let alone having gym sessions and playing tennis, is beyond me. She said, but from right now, you're not to do any more exercise until you've had an infusion. She goes, your body, so just in case for those who don't know, hemoglobin is the oxygen in your blood, right? Your red blood cells. So if you've not got enough, your body can't actually provide your muscles with oxygen, which is not good because this little ticker here is also a muscle, right? She's like, you're not allowed to exercise for a week. You can do some slow walks until you've had the infusion. I was like, fucking great. Couldn't get me the infusion until the following Wednesday, so we were looking at a blood transfusion. Thankfully, they called me the next day. Iron infusion the next day. I was looking like this fucking wall of paleness. If you go and have a look at one of the reels I did back then. Very bad. Anyway, and she said, we'll do the iron infusion, but you need to actually have a colonoscopy, gastroscopy, because we have the only people we see with this low iron is if you're bleeding out. So if you've got heavy periods, postpartum blood loss, bleeding out. And she's like, you've got no blood in your stool. I'm like, no blood in my stool. Wait for this though. She's like, okay, gonna have a colonoscopy, gastroscopy. And from what we had known for Chris having just been diagnosed with celiac disease, it looked like I potentially had celiac disease, right? The bloating, the low iron, and then being sent off for this gastroscopy, colonoscopy. Chris is like, you're a glutard too. And I was like, shut up. I was like, so anyway, so I got that booked in. Then, conversations with my mum and everything before the colonoscopy and stuff, and conversations with Chris. She was like, your hemoglobin and iron hasn't gotten this low like that. Like, this has happened over a period of time. How have you been fit? She goes, you told me you were feeling quite tired in like March. Why didn't you get your iron checked then? And I said, Mum, I have 4 kids. I have a baby who still is waking up in the night every now and then. You know, I'm probably not getting enough sleep. I just put it down to that. Like, I don't like to whinge. I'm not like, you know, I don't complain. I kind of just get on with it. I said I wasn't tired enough to, you know, but then hindsight. So let's just go back a bit. Hindsight's 2020, right? So you start going back. Now, for those of you who don't know, I ran 20 kilometres 12 weeks postpartum from London. So that was on Christmas Day. So I ran 20 kilometres on Christmas Day. Felt great, fine. And then from that, I was then training for a marathon to run with Lockie on the 15th of March. So I was training and building up my runs, right, through January, February. January felt fine. We were in the Gold Coast. I felt lean. I felt slim. I didn't have any bloating. I was running really well. We got back from the Gold Coast at the end of January, was doing my runs through February, and I specifically now remember calling Chris on one of my runs and going, I feel like fucking shit. Like, I feel like balls. I was like, what is going on? I was like, I've eaten well. I've had a good breakfast. I was like, maybe the 5 to 6.5 hours sleep is catching up with me. Like, maybe I should start, you know, looking after that, you know, which I still should have. I was like, but I feel really like I'm struggling through this run. You know, like I'm really struggling. And I run for like, 7, 8 years, right? I was like, no, something's, you know, this is weird. Didn't really think anything of it. I actually thought potentially I had been overtraining because I'd run so soon after London. I thought maybe I was overtraining. And I said, you know, after I do this run with Lockie, I'll have a little bit of a break. Anyway, as you guys probably know if you watched me run, I didn't make the full marathon. I couldn't get there. I ran 30 kilometres. In hindsight now, we know that I was very low iron at the time and had cancer. But ran 30 kilometres, really pushed hard to get to that 30 kilometres. And my bloating around this time was getting worse to the point where, and I think I did put it in my stories the other week and I will share it again. I looked about 20 weeks pregnant, guys. Like at nighttime especially, I was showing Chris and I was like, look 20 weeks pregnant. And he was like, yeah, I was like, this is not normal, babe. And it's not fat. Like I haven't got extra fat on my body. I'm weighing like a couple of kilos extra, but like nothing dramatic. And I didn't know what it was. So hence why when I went to the doctor. So in hindsight, all these things kind of added up. So when people ask me about symptoms, like was I just tired? Tired for me is a bit hard because I feel like I don't have time to be tired. I get up, I work out, I make breakfast, I make lunches, I work, I go to the gym, I then go and pick up the kids from school, I make dinners, I go dancing, I have coaching calls, I go to bed. Like I don't really have time to be tired. There's no time in the day where I'm not doing something, using my brain. So I suppose, yeah, for a normal person, cool. Yeah, I was tired, but bloating, really bad bloating, dizziness. But for me, it was this sense of, and this is a low iron symptom for me, and it happened when I was pregnant, exhaustion. So not tiredness, but like physical, like exhaustion. So doing something and then feeling like I can't do it again, which is weird for me. And I did talk about this last time in my stories briefly, but as I said before, I'm used to functioning up here. So when I'm functioning down here, this is a massive drop for me, which I'm going to talk about in a bit later because last night I said on my stories, I felt like I'm potentially losing credibility. How can someone that's so fit and healthy get cancer? Why would you listen to Danni? Well, actually, I think that's actually saved me because say I was functioning here most of the time, where so many of you function, you're always tired, you're always lethargic, you're always, you never get out of bed, so you don't know what that looks like. You don't push yourself, so you don't know what that looks like. For you to go from here to here isn't much, right? So you might not feel or know that something's wrong because the difference in how you're feeling is not dramatic. For me, the dramatic drop in how I felt was an instant indicator that something wasn't wrong. And that is the difference. And that is why I do have credibility still. The dramatic fall from feeling so good all the time to this instantly told me that something was wrong, right? So anyway, let's go back. So that's that backstory. Now we're back here, back in the present moment. So last Thursday, or last Wednesday, I should say, we did that bowel prep. Those of you that joined in my stories last Wednesday had a giggle with me. No, and if you've had a colonoscopy before, we had to take 2 drinks that were fucking foul, and then you shit yourself for a good period of time. So we had fun doing that, didn't we? And again, as I said, I didn't have any inkling that when I went in, that was saying that, and it keeps pausing. Anyway, so I go in to the centre to have my colonoscopy gastroscopy, and I sit down, and let's be honest, because I hadn't eaten since midday the day before, I've shat myself. I'm still low iron, like the infusion is still working, and if you know me, I love my food. I eat every 3 hours, sometimes every 2 hours. Having not eaten for 24, 25 hours, I'm now feeling the effects of my low iron. My blood pressure, they took my blood pressure, it was like 90 over 40, so low as fuck. I'm like shaking my blood sugars down. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the room. He comes in, asks me why I'm here. I said, low iron, blah, blah, blah. I was training for a marathon and felt really shit. And he was like, what the hell? Then he opens my file and he's like, holy moly. He's like, how are you standing up? He's like, you're so anemic. And I was like, I know. I don't know. This is what my doctor's saying. He's like, you should be curled up in a bed. I'm like, that's what my doctor keeps saying. So, there has to be something, I'm going to have to listen to all those other gyms in the garden. There's something to be said about pushing through, right? Like, I'm a bit of a tough cookie. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be proud if you're not a tough cookie, but, if there's one thing I'm trying to teach my kids, it's resilience and grit. There has to be, to a point, and I have got myself checked out, but resilience and grit is definitely my middle name, right? Get that from my mama. Anyway, so he's open and he's like, we're going to check. He's like, you're probably a celiac like Chris, which would be really interesting that both of you are celiacs, but Anyway, go in, go under. Again, hindsight, 2020. I come out and I'm sitting in recovery and they're like, do you want a cup of tea? And I'm like, I'd love a green tea. And she goes, green tea? I don't think we have green tea. And then other nurse goes, we'll find her a green tea. Like, find her a green tea. And I was like, oh, they really want me to have a green tea. I'm thinking now they probably fucking all know that I've got fucking cancer and they're like, find the girl a green tea. Get the girl a green tea. Anyway, so I'm sitting there having my tea and you guys, the sandwich, biscuits, all the fucking shit food. Actually, the sandwich wasn't too bad. Private system's quite good. Chicken and egg sandwich I had, but then I had some biscuits. Anyway, and then the nurse comes up, a male nurse, I've gotten dressed, and he's like, is your husband on his way? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, how long is he? Far is he away? I said, about 20 minutes. He was like, okay, the doctor just wants to see you together. And I was like, that doesn't sound good. And I was like, So I messaged Chris and I was like, he wants to see us together. Again, sometimes Danni is a bit like blasé and sometimes I don't see things that are staring me in the face. Didn't think anything of it. I was like, they didn't want me in when Chris got his results. Oh well. Anyway, this is where I started having a bit of an inkling. Then he comes up and he goes, he has to get into another appointment, so he'll just see you by yourself. And I just sat there and he goes, he wants to see you in a room. And I messaged Chris and I was like, did you have to go to a room? I'm getting taken to a room. Anyway, Chris now said he read that and he was like, shit. He didn't reply. It's like, shit. So I get taken into the room and he sits me down and he goes, Danni, I'm so sorry, but I found something I didn't want to see on here. And I was like, what's that? He's like, I was really hoping to tell you that you're celiac. But there's a 2-centimeter malignant tumor on your bowel. And I was like, I'm sorry. What? I was like, what? I was like, this is not right. This is not right. And he's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, you're so young and fit and healthy. And I'm like, I know. This isn't... I said, how? How? How has this happened to me? And he's like, I don't know. He goes, do you want to look at the positives? I was like, sure. He's like, it's at the top of your bowel, not the bottom of your bowel. So he's like, you won't have to have a stoma bag or anything. Sorry guys. And I just was sat there you don't know what to say as well. You're in this room with a stranger and you haven't got anyone you love around you and you don't know what to say. Because you don't believe that this is your life. How is that happening to you? I work so hard. I work so hard to look after myself and my family and anyway. So he's like, do you have any questions? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have any questions. And I just sent Chris a message. I was like, don't bring the kids in. And he was already there as I walked out. And he's like, what happened? And I said, I'm sorry, Chris. I said, I've got bowel cancer. He's like, what the fuck? like, take the kids to the car. So I took the kids to the car. And Harper's like, what's wrong, Mummy? What's wrong? And what do you tell your kids? I was like, nothing's Mum's, it's fine. Mummy's just gonna have to have some surgery, but I'm gonna be fine. I said, just put the twins in the car. Because, like, you know, like, it's like an out-of-body experience, right? You're, like, looking at it like it's, not real, you know? It's really fucking weird, like, looking back. Because you immediately do think it's a bit of a death sentence as well. You go... And, one of my friends actually died of bowel cancer last year. So that's the first thing that came to my head. You know, Connie passed away from this. So, is that going to be me? And I also, like, thought, what if London doesn't know who I am? I was like, she needs to know who I am. So, anyway. So, we drove home and that night I don't know. It's just shit. Anyway, they said I have to have an urgent CT scan to make sure there was no other tumours anywhere else. So then I spent all of Friday anxious because what if it had spread to my lungs and liver, then it would be fucked. So I had a CT scan on Friday morning. And then I also had to have a blood test because my hemoglobin was so low. They're going to want to do surgery quickly to get it out. And they won't do the surgery if your hemoglobin's too low. So he said to me, he was like, and this is the other thing, you know, like you start reading into things. Before I left, the doctor was like, I'm going to urgently get you into a surgeon appointment ASAP. They're going to call you either tomorrow or Monday to get you in straight away. And I'm like, are you doing this urgently because it's bad? Or are you doing it urgently because you care and I'm young and I have 4 children? You know? Anyway, so on the way home, I got a call from the surgeon's rooms, which was great. So I had my appointment yesterday. But you can't help but like go into like the what ifs and what happens, and like you spiral. And as much as I love people sharing their stories, some people have shared stories that you don't want to hear. Like some people have shared stories of like, go and follow this chick, she's at stage 4 and she's dying. And I'm like, I don't want to read that right now. Anyway, so I had the CT scan on Friday and they were like, the results will be here by 2:30. And as I said, I did share something on Friday with you, didn't I? I shared my boobs. They did the CT scan. They're like, Danni, are you sure you haven't got breast implants? Because there's 2 big masses on your boobs. I'm like, I'm breastfeeding and I haven't pumped yet. And she was like, that's what it is. Because I was like here going, oh my God, I've got breast cancer as well. But you do start spiraling and they're like, your results are going to be back by 2:30. At 2:30, I call the doctor. They're not there yet. She calls me at 4:10 whilst I'm in the tennis lesson with the twins. Like, I'm like, yay, go guys. And the phone rings. I'm like, oh my God. But that was clear. So that was good. But the other problem is that they couldn't tell if it was in my lymph nodes because, get this, I haven't got enough fat on my stomach. They're like, due to lack of fat, we can't see the lymph nodes properly. Because apparently when you have more fat on you, the CT scan works better. So anyway, never thought I'd be in trouble for being lean. Anyway, so I had the blood test, and over the weekend, my mum came down straight away, which is really beautiful. And my stepdad's got terminal thyroid cancer, which he's just a trooper. So he said, welcome to the club. So then obviously as the days have gone on, you know, you go through different like emotions and you get angry. Like I'm angry because it shouldn't be happening to me. I'm angry because our family has been through so much fucking shit lately. Like, what the fuck? Like, when does it stop? You know, with, you know, going back a few, like the last 4 years for us have just been back-to-back shit, you know. Kat's gone missing and dying. Chris's dad dying suddenly. Bo ended up in hospital with COVID and isolation ward. I had 2 back-to-back miscarriages. One of them on a fucking aeroplane. Chris got a fucking tumour in his lung. The week before we found out, the week before we had London, he had his lung removed. He then had to have 3 more surgeries for his lung. Then he got diagnosed with celiac disease. It's like, who am I pissed off? Because someone ain't happy with us. And so I'm angry about that. Then I'm angry as to why me. Like, this makes fucking 0 sense, which I'll talk about in a second. And then you get sad because I have these beautiful children who I want to see grow up and I want to go to their weddings. And to be honest, when the surgeon said to me, I forgot to tell you this bit, when he said to me what it is, I turned to him and I said, this can't happen. I'm supposed to live to 100. And he said, you will still live to 100. I was like, okay, that's all I needed to hear. Like, I'm living to 100, dude. I'm running a marathon at 100. So fucking don't take this fucking away from me. But yeah, you go through emotions. Like, I want to go to my kids' weddings and I want to see them grow up and I want to see their grown kids, and you do all this shit. And then you think, have I passed this on to my kids? Like, have I fucked up their life? Like, that fucking, that goes through, and then I poor Chris, he's going through his own shit, and then I put this shit. And then you've got other things, like things that might seem irrelevant to some people, but like, I've had really shit birthdays lately. My nana died on my birthday last year. The year before, I was in hospital miscarrying our baby in Singapore on my birthday. I went through 2 lockdown birthdays. This year was supposed to be my year. I've got a big party planned. We've got a big trip to Europe and Mykonos to celebrate with my friends. And you think, well, now I can't do that. Can that happen? I signed up with a PT and a mobility coach to get really strong and amazing before my 40th. Now after next week, that stops. I can't do that for 6 weeks. So then you get angry at that. It's just a lot. And at the same time, you've got to think of things like, I can't just stop working because I have my own business, like we have a mortgage to pay, and now I've got more hospital bills to pay and doctor's appointments to pay. So it's a lot. And then yesterday at the surgeon's appointment, he was great. He had a great sense of humor. He was fabulous. So I'm booked in for next Wednesday. So I booked in for next Wednesday for surgery. He's like, I've got you straight in as soon as I found out. I made space in my calendar. I'm like, thank you. He's like, so basically, here's the deal. I have to have 5 incisions, one which is going to be across my cesarean scar, right? So going through the cesarean scar and then 4 more incisions. Basically, me and Chris are going to match. How cute. Chris last night, couples that cancer together, stay together. Got to find the fun. Anyway, he's got 5 incisions from his robot. I'm going to have 4 incisions and my cesarean scar again. From my robot, I'm losing like 20% of my left bowel. He's lost 20% of his lung. So they go in, cut it out, and then staple and suture it back together. And then I've got 6 weeks, basically like I've had a cesarean, right? 6 weeks of no lifting heavy, no running. So guys, I've got 6 weeks, and then after that 6 weeks is up, there's 4 weeks till my fucking birthday. So you just watch this fucking space on that 4 weeks, man. 6 weeks, and then, so I don't want to herniate it, but once it comes out, we will then know if it's stage 2 or stage 3. So at the moment, he thinks it's stage 2. Stage 2 just means they take it out, and then I have a 5-year monitor plan, and I go on a monitor plan. So I see a doctor, and I get tests every 3 months, colonoscopy every 6 months, and then for 2 years, and then I think he said 6 monthly. I didn't take notes. 6 monthly, and then I go for the years 3 and 4, and then I get a yearly one. It's so original. So that's what that would look like if it's stage 2. Stage 2 means a wonderful, right? Let's just hope it's stage 2. He said it could be stage 3. If it's stage 3, I then have to have 6 months of chemotherapy, 12 rounds, so twice a month for 6 months, which will then mean I cannot go on my trip, which is really shit. It also means my beautiful hair is probably going to go. But all of my friends and family, we're just pretending it's stage 2 right now. We're manifesting stage 2. So I ask you and pray that you please all do the same. That it's just stage 2, that they take it out, and that's it. And we'll cross stage 3 if that has to get there. So hopefully it's not. Now, when I was in there and he asked if I had any questions, well, he said, is this genetic? And Mum was there and she's like, no, there's no cancer in our family. Thank you, Tara. There's no cancer in our family at all. He said, so it's not genetic. It's not lifestyle, because look at you. He said, this is an environmental thing. And I said, talk to me about that. What do you mean by that? He said, you ready for it? He said, all the chemicals in our food that we have been eating since the 90s, all the burnt red meat, so barbecued meat, bacon, carcinogens in ham, contribute to cancer. And he's like, this would be your factors. I was like, well, you have just basically said exactly what I say every day in my life and validated everything I already knew. Everything. Pesticides, preservatives, additives, colorings, emulsifiers, carcinogens, ham, all that barbecued meat we used to eat, all the fucking shit. You know, Mum did used to cook us meat and 3 veg. But if you look at the generation before us, all they ate was whole foods because we didn't have ultra-processed foods. And then when ultra-processed foods first came into circulation, they didn't actually have that many added chemicals in them. But then as the late 80s, 90s started, we started adding all this shit to them. And no one fucking thought of the fucking detriment that was going to happen. And because he said, I'm seeing so many more people under the age of 45 with cancer now, it's terrifying. So my role now is to continue doing what I was doing before, you know, educating, helping, raising awareness, because I know that there are people out there that still say, oh, but as long as your kids eat, it's fine and I'm fine. Do you actually know what you're doing to your body? Do you know what you're doing long term? Because guys, as he said to me yesterday, cancers take between 15 and 25 years to come to fruition. So you learn a lot of shit when you get cancer. So everyone has cancer cells in their body. We produce them all the time, but our bodies fight them off, right? That's what our immune system's for. They fight them off. And cancers are one cell. So there's one little cell all the time. We produce these cancer cells and they fight them off. When something interrupts that process or you are weakened for some reason, that cancer cell then starts to duplicate, right? So now yes, I know, terrible. The tumour in my bowel now is billions of cells, right? Because it's been there for years, okay? And of course now Chris is on. Shush. Billions of cells. So if you think about the contributing factors from my childhood, the 90s, tiny teddies, shapes, you know, freaking Pop-Tarts, Cocoa Pops, rice bubbles, takeaway, McDonald's, we used to have that all the time, right? If you lived in the country, when I talk to people that are my age lived in the country, it wasn't like this. And even actually Europeans weren't like this. So I've got a lot of friends that are Greek, Italian, all home cooked, didn't have this shit, right? If you think of all those things that are contributing to me potentially producing, you know, not helping these cancer cells, right? Lots of barbecues, lots of bacon, lots of ham sandwiches every single fucking day, carcinogens. And then he's like, what happened in your life 15 to 20 years ago? And I'm like, you want to know what happened in my life 15, 20 years ago? I was in a very stressful, abusive relationship. Because stress, guys, is the biggest killer, right? Stress means our immune system is weakened, we are weakened, and we are stressed, we let in shit. You get sick when you're stressed, you get injured when you're stressed, you potentially, yeah. So contributing back factors, lifestyle, and then stress, right? Because I was talking to a friend about stress and she was like, are you stressed now? And I'm like, no, like I'm busy now. I have 4 kids and I'm busy, but I'm not stressed. I've got a loving partner. I've got beautiful kids. I've got great family, got great support network. I'm not stressed. I know how to manage my stress. I'm very good at going for a walk and sorting out my stress, not just short-term things, but long-term things. This is stress that started 15, 20 years ago. And so I said, literally looked at him and I said, do you want to be on my podcast? Because this is what we need to talk to people about, is I don't give a fuck if you don't have time to make your kids food from scratch or give them good food, if you don't have time, you should not have a kid, because their health, yes, they might be fine now, but why have I got cancer? Right? No genetic predisposition to cancers. No one else in my family has cancer. I'm literally starting now, unfortunately, a cycle. Now, the good thing is, he said, is that because this is environmental and you are raising your kids completely differently, my kids eat 99% whole foods. The only not whole food they have is some fun day sweets every couple of days and maybe a bit of chocolate once a week, and we might go for an ice cream once every few weeks, right? If they have an ice cream at home, it's like juice, right? Or yogurt. He's like, so hopefully, because you are doing differently, your kids will be fine and they actually won't be in this space. And then I will also bring them up to manage their stress. If they're fucking in a relationship with a fucking dickhead, watch, mummy and daddy are coming. Okay? No stress. Not no stress. We need a little bit of stress in our lives, but you know what I mean. So that's what's frustrating, because I also feel like this is separate. This is probably a separate live, but like, I've got a job to do now, right? Like, we need to somehow talk to these companies and get this eradicated, or we get in people's heads, we get in parents' heads, and we educate, and then we make fresh food more affordable and more available, right? But, you know, I put a little story this morning. Go and make a choice today. Make a choice to do the best you can, because if I can get cancer, I eat so, and I am the healthiest I've ever been. You know, 10 years ago, yes, I still bought some muesli bars. I drank too much 10 years ago. In the last 10 years, I've changed my lifestyle so much, and I continue to every day. If I can get cancer, then anyone can get cancer, right? Especially if you're around my age and you were brought up like me in the 90s, right? And if you've had any stresses in your life. So my message is to fuel well, eat well, look after yourself, but look after your stresses. If you're in a fucking shit relationship, if you've got a toxic friend, if you've got someone that's causing you stress, fucking eradicate them from your life. You know, we need to put a higher value on our own lives, because when you are dealt a card that is impacting that, you know, you then realize the value. And I can tell you right now, I didn't have much patience for people that intentionally put their lives at risk anyway. You know, I'd see smokers, even though, you know, as I said, 20 years ago, I'd have some cigarettes, right, when I was out at a party. But now, I have no patience for it. If you don't value your life, you're so ungrateful for the cards you've been dealt, right? Like, be grateful that you have an opportunity to turn this around. But look after your stresses, look after your mind, but also listen to your body. Listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, advocate for that, right? Go to the doctor and say, this isn't right, right? Like I said to her, I was like, everyone keeps telling me this bloating is X, Y, Z. It's not. This is not my body. I know my body, and this is not right. However, what she did say to me, and I'll say this to you, if you think something's not right and you go to the doctor and they don't find anything, have a look at your lifestyle. There is a book that I've just ordered because I've been seeing so much about him already and I can't remember. It's called Beat Disease Through Food. Don't quote me. I might put it in the comments. Change your lifestyle. Change your lifestyle. If you go to the doctor and there's nothing wrong, they do the test and there's nothing wrong, and you're like, I'm going to find someone else, sure, get a second opinion. But have you tried to change your lifestyle? How much ultra-processed food are you eating? How much sugar are you consuming? How much water are you consuming? Enough? How much alcohol are you consuming? Are you actually moving your body enough? Did you know that cancer patients that vigorously exercise have a higher chance of survival than anyone else? Yes, food is medicine. And instead of prescribing and going finding something to take to fix what is wrong with you, like so many people do, like, I'm going to take this supplement and this supplement and this supplement and this supplement, and I'm going to take this drug and this drug to fix something that actually you just need to fix yourself. Don't do detoxes. Our body has a liver and a kidneys to do that for you, and a stomach. It's actually a very good system that works well to detox if you feed it good things. If you go and water your plant with weed killer, what the fuck happens? It fucking dies. It needs fresh water to thrive. It's the same with your body. Don't feed it weed killer and then wonder why you feel shit, right? Because once you start to function up here, you then give yourself a better chance and opportunity to realize when something is wrong as well, right? So I'm on a mission now to raise awareness that anyone can get cancer. So don't think that you are immune. Don't think you are different. And don't sit there and tell me, because I hear this a lot, oh, I always eat shit and I stay skinny. Or, oh God, I'm so bad and I just seem to never get sick. Like, don't be so proud. Look after yourself, right? There are probably in your household, because most of my followers are parents, little people watching you. You know, my mum and dad, I've never seen them so sad when I told them this. I can't imagine my kids telling me this. I would want to take it away in a heartbeat. My mum and dad want to take it away in a heartbeat. And they can't. Imagine if you knew that you contributed to that. Imagine if you knew that you could have potentially changed that. Just taking an extra hour on a Sunday to make them some whole foods. To actually go home and make them some dinner rather than taking them to McDonald's. Rather than actually making them some cake with bananas and almond meal and beautiful things rather than a shitty cake from down the road. Imagine knowing that you could have impacted that just a little bit, you know? Because I know my mum's pissed off. Mum's upset that consumerism of the 90s and marketing of the 90s led her to believe that this was okay, you know? And we know better now, you know? So look after yourself. You have an opportunity to look after yourself. Stop being fucking lazy. Get out of bed. It'll make you feel better. Because when this little bit is questioned, when you don't know if you know, what's next, it's shit. And you know, well, now I have to have nights away from my babies, you know, like if this is stage 3, guys, I have to stop feeding London, okay? You know, then she misses out and I miss out. So you fucking have a responsibility to look after yourself, and those kids are yours, okay? Look after yourself, go to a doctor. If you're not feeling great, go and ask for a colonoscopy, get a stool sample done, check all those things. If you have any other questions, Fiona, you're going to have to go back and watch from the beginning, babe. I'll talk about all my symptoms then. Who is the same as Harlow? She said she needs a cuddle mummy. You can do the hard things, Danny. You have this, Danny. Oh, thank you so much. That's so beautiful. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear so many of you messaging me telling you've made a change or it's given you a kick up the arse. I'm probably going to make quite a few people feel uncomfortable over the next few weeks because it's going to really challenge you and it's going to trigger you. But it's for the right reasons, okay? So thank you so much for your love and support. The blood in my stool, that was right. Yeah, that was a question I didn't answer. So this is the thing. I didn't have blood in my stool, as in I didn't see blood, because it's at the top of my large intestine. So as you know, you got your small intestine, that your large one that goes around like this and then comes out the bottom into your rectum. Because mine's at the top and it's bleeding out there, so it's ulcerated. So I'm actually lucky it ulcerated and is bleeding. That's where I'm bleeding out from. The blood is then mixing with my feces along the way. So by the time it comes out of my bum, it's actually not speckled red, but it's mixed in. So my question from my doctor was, is your poo darker than usual? And then I said, actually, yes, it has been darker. It has been darker. So, yeah. Do I think vaccines contribute? I don't think they contribute to cancers, no. Vaccines have been around for a long time, and a lot of people are blaming the COVID vaccine. Mum's a doctor, so I talk to her a lot about this. I don't want to get into a vaccine conversation, but vaccines have been around for a long time. I don't think they contribute to cancers. They're different cells, but also the COVID vaccine is very similar to the flu vaccine. And from what maybe I should get my mum on to talk about this as well on a podcast again. But from what she says, there should be no implications of that. But, you know, also it takes years for cancers to come. Like I said earlier, it takes like 15 to 30 years for cancers to actually grow. The COVID vaccine is only 5 years old. So people are not getting cancer from the COVID vaccine. Cancers have been growing for years, right? So, yeah. Did I have impacted stool, like a build-up of stool? No, that's the other thing. I didn't have any Sorry, so that was my question on the vaccines. No, I don't think so. Again, they take years and years and years to develop. I don't think so. No, my stool was fine. I wasn't having diarrhea. I wasn't having any constipation. Normal, you know. So the gluten said no. So nothing to do with gluten. I have to say though, when I did go to gluten-free for those 2 days, a couple of weeks ago, I did feel better. But I think it's because some days I do have a lot of gluten. So what I've decided to do is just have like a low gluten diet. There's stuff that says you shouldn't avoid gluten if you're not a celiac, because it actually can impact your health in other ways. So I'm still going to eat gluten, but we are doing more gluten-free stuff obviously in the house now because of Chris. And I do feel better having less gluten, but sourdough is low gluten, so that's a really good thing. So sourdough is actually low gluten. But again, the things that make me feel shit are the things with high refined gluten in. So if you think like muffins, cookies, that sort of thing, that's the shit that actually makes you feel crap, right? How do you get tested? Is it a simple process? So, so basically, I mean, I went straight to a colonoscopy because they weren't sure where the bleeding was coming from and my iron was so low. You might get tested, you might get taken to a stool sample just first of all, and that will then show up if there's anything in there, any antibodies and things in there as well. So go to your doctor and just say, can I have especially if you've got a history of bowel cancer in your family, you know, can I have a colonoscopy or can I have a stool sample? I just want to get it checked out. Sometimes just go in and go, I just want to get everything checked. I just want to make sure everything's fine. I want to get my cholesterol, my thyroid function, my full blood count, you know, all your things, just get them tested. Oh no, you'll be fine. I also, annoyingly, so, you know, we can have a little bit of a laugh along the way with this, guys, as well. I have to do that bowel prep again before my surgery on Wednesday. Yeah. You know those 2 drinks I had last week? We had a bit of a fucking laugh and a giggle. I have to do that again. But last time I got to do my first drink at night, then the next drink in the morning. So I was pooing in the morning. I have to be at the hospital at 7 o'clock in the morning, which means I have to take my first drink at midday the day before and my second drink before I go to bed. So I'm going to be shitting through the night. So we'll have a bit of a giggle through that, won't we? Do you have any diet changes due to a diagnosis? No, this was another thing. So both doctors said to me, usually we would send patients away with a list of things they should be eating and how they should be exercising. And they were like, what do we tell you? You're doing all the things. They were like, we would tell you to eat more whole foods, have a high fiber diet, exercise rigorously every single day. I'm like, I do all that. They're like, reduce alcohol, drink more water. I'm like, tick, tick. This is the fucking annoying thing, right? They're literally like, what's Danni going to change? Nothing. Yes, go into your... get rid of... Disconnecting. I post so many recipes. Jump on, find some recipes and start baking. Get rid of all the fucking processed crap. Yes, I'll post... If I go here... Who's trying to call me? Amazon. Let me find it. I literally just ordered it 2 seconds ago. Eat to Beat Disease. Eat to Beat Disease by Dr. William Lee. Eat to Beat Disease. Do I need chemo? I did send... Bianca, you might have to go back and watch it, so I don't know yet. I'll have to see if it's stage 3. If it's stage 3, I will. Here's the other cancer patient. I don't think so. What have we done? Oh, I need rosemary. And thyme. Just go to the deli.
Rosemary, thyme.
Milk and tea.
Hey.
Have you told my children? Please ask for... Oh, what did you say? Please ask for Pico Prep. Much nicer. Oh, really?
Yes, I'm still celiac.
Did you hear that? He said, yes, he's still celiac. We're not going to tell the twins. We are going to... Oh, no. Hello, Danny. It's Linda from Kinder. Oh, fuck. What the fuck's happened to the twins? Oh, God. We've told Harper that Mummy needs to have some surgery to remove something. And then I had a little conversation with her about and also why we now eat a lot of whole foods and we don't eat occasional foods very often. And she was like, I know all this. I was like, just checking. My husband had bowel problems forward at a referral. He hasn't done anything with for almost a year. Oh my God. Juanita. Why? This is the other thing, guys. If it's not ulcerated, so like mine ulcerated, which means it's bleeding through, which is why my iron got so low. If it hadn't ulcerated, it would just continue growing, and then it would go into your lymph nodes and your lungs and your liver. Juanita, like a year ago? Oh my God. Going like, oh my God, guys. Like, yeah, oh my God. There you go. So yeah, bowel cancer screening tests are free for over 45. Chromosome defaults, no cancers can be other reasons. Yes. I'm sorry to hear your baby's had cancer. And this is the other thing. I always look for the good in things, and this could be much worse. It could be much worse. It could have already been in my lungs and liver, and it could have been my kids. That would be the fucking worst. So I am grateful that I get to go through this instead of them as well. I'm still going to do the retreat. So here's the thing. I still have 2 spots left on the retreat, actually, if you want to come. 5th to the 8th of June. I'm just not going to do the workout with you. So I won't be able to work out. Because it's a robot, the recovery is relatively fine in regards to actually getting up and walking around and doing that. I just won't be able to lift heavy or do any exercise. So, yeah, I've got 2 more spots in the retreat. So I think if you apply retreat, you can get the link. Otherwise, let me know and I'll send it to you. I'll just be talking you through the workout. So with like a HIIT section, like a group coaching session where I like talk you through it. So the retreat is still on. I'm going to be in hospital for a minimum of 2 days, maximum 7. I just have to poo on myself, basically. I have to fart before I can have any food. I have to have a liquid diet until I fart, and then I have to stay in until I poo by myself, and then I can go home. The retreat is 8 days after my surgery, so I will be fine. It's still going ahead. So, yeah, it's still going ahead. It'll just be nice and, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. So if you're coming, yeah, see you then. Does anyone have any more questions before I go? I'm trying to think if I've covered everything. Symptoms, reasons, finding out, kids. Yes, Chris is still celiac. His lung is fine now though. But something good is coming. What's the wait time for a result post-surgery? Pretty quick, I think. Pretty quick. The biopsy should be back, I think. I don't know if it's same day, but pretty quick. It'd probably be same day, if not next day. So the anxiety of waiting for Friday for the CT results, I feel like I'm going to feel the same anxiety for this, like finding out that, like just knowing what the next thing is. I'm trying not to let that's a bit of a mind fuckery, that one, so I'm just going to wait, yeah. White blood cells was normal. It was iron and HB. Yeah, my white blood cell count was fine. Chris's lung was a carcinoid tumour. So carcinoid tumours are a little bit different. Yes, that's when I'll find out what stage it is. Carcinoid tumours are a bit different. I don't know how carcinoid tumours develop. It potentially could be something similar to mine. Did you go through? Yes, I went through private. So yes, public system. So there's a long way for colonoscopies in the public system. So Brooks had, I shouldn't probably show this. Brooke had to wait a little while for her appointment, whereas I got in like within 7 days for my colonoscopy as well. Yeah, totally, Sophie. Yeah, I think they said same day. I should know same day because I'm having it in the morning as well, like 7 a.m. It's a 3-hour surgery. Chris has ended up taking 5 hours. But yeah, Chris is carcinoid. He just has to have yearly checks to check that he hasn't grown anymore, but his hadn't spread either. And he had to have his out. Then he had to have a couple more surgeries because he had some stuff go on in there. But his is fine now, and he's feeling almost back to full fitness as well, which is really good. We've just been hit with the fucking shit stick though. And so something good is coming. And I do really believe that everything I've gone on in my life that I've gone through has then allowed me to help more people and be more empathetic to more people. Like when I lost my baby at 13 and a half weeks on an aeroplane on the way to Singapore, I then had more empathy for people that lost babies later. You know, I feel like every time something happens, and there's probably a reason I'm supposed to get this so that I can help more people, so I can raise more awareness. Maybe this is just to reinstill what I already believe, to help people change their lifestyles, because I know I've changed people's lives and I fucking love it. It's like the most rewarding thing on the planet is helping people and seeing them thrive. And so maybe I just needed to go through this to then know that I can help these people and help more people. Yes, I will be doing genetic testing. Yes. So, I will be going to Peter Mac Centre to do genetic testing to check as well for the kids as well. So, we will be doing that, post as well. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I think this happened. Well, since this other child, I'm going to advocate for the test now. Thank you so much for sharing. No worries. Yeah. That was the other thing. Yes, you can still do a stool test. You just have to ask. It is good enough. It'll show up. A stool sample will show up if there's blood or there's any abnormalities in there as well. No, I have no pain. This is the other thing. I have bloating. I have no pain, no cramping, lots of gas. So you love to be in my house. Lots of gas. Lots of gas, that's it, and lots of bloating, which is probably meaning because things are probably potentially getting blocked up there and stuck and then coming out. I'm not getting constipated, but just like a bit, and gassy. But yeah, I do believe that this is here to educate and help more people, raise awareness, and just make people realize that no one it can escape this, as in this can hit you anytime. So do the best you can. Next time you go and reach for a snack, don't think I don't have time. Think, will future me thank me for this? And not just future you in 10 years time, future you in 10 minutes. Is this going to make me feel shit or does it make me feel better? What are the choices you're making? How are they impacting future you? Because yes, I know in the current moment and this life is so busy and we're so busy being busy, but guys, slow down. Right? Just take a step back. If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it shouldn't matter for 5 minutes. Oh, I can't do this, I can't work, I can't have time, I'm going to be late. Take time. Because making time for your illness is fucking shit. And also, when you have your health, you have a million problems. And you see all the problems. You see all the other issues. When you don't have your health, you have one problem. And that's getting healthy. I would rather have a million problems right now. I would rather have all the other problems. Has Harper done her homework? Have I washed the twins' clothes? Has London got a new sheet on her bed? I would rather have a million problems than this one problem. Yeah. You're so welcome. My hemoglobin last week was 77. It's now 110. So I got my results and said it's 110. So it'll slowly keep going up because the infusion was 2 weeks ago. So it's at the top of my large intestine, which is up here, large bowel. It's 2 centimeters by 1.7. Is that big? Not that big? Yeah, fucking asshole. It chose to fuck with the wrong people. Anyway, thanks for coming. If I didn't answer all your questions, please put them in the comments below. Again, thank you so much for all the love. I hope I've answered your questions. I hope I've raised some more awareness. I hope I've prompted you to make some sort of change in your life, whether that's go to a doctor's appointment, get rid of ultra-processed food in your house, make some more snacks for your kids, drink more water, drink less alcohol. Yeah, absolutely. Fuck cancer. All right. Thank you so much for coming along. I'll chat to you guys all soon. Lots of love.